What up, everybody out there? Jeez, what up, everybody out there in podcast land? Thank you for tuning in yet again, to another episode of Ken and Ross Present the Yeah, I Said It podcast, which is always, of course, the brainchild of my child. I am the dad half of this operation, Ross Cooper. We are always expressing what our full capabilities until they might want us in correctional facilities. And as per usual, I am rocking with the best. My co-host, please introduce yourself to the folk.
Yeah, well, look at all these slave masters posting on your dollar. Um, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good week. It's been a crazy week, well, 2 weeks, however you want to look at it. Yeah, ain't really much to say, so sit back, relax, and you know what to do.
Listen, man, I'm a little out of sorts. If I seem subdued, if it seems like I'm a little sick, I am, but it doesn't have much to do with me physically. So first, I want to start with a shout out the shirt I'm wearing. Yes, boys and girls, we will be getting our own merch soon, coming soon. But we always want to use this platform to shout out black-owned companies. We're always cheering for everybody black. This T-shirt is from a buddy, childhood friend of mine. I literally went to grammar school with. He's got his own company now, King's Mob. Please check it out. It's of course the 716 where we grew up, Buffalo, New York, in the glorious Empire State. So I want to shout that out first and foremost. Um, we're going to start off with something good about police. About a year ago or so, things gained traction with former Buffalo police officer Clarion Horn. She was doing the thing that we say most officers don't do. She actually stopped a pig when they were putting a chokehold on somebody, and her reward was to be fired and lose her pension. Good news is apparently Buffalo has done right by her. She will, in fact, get not only her pension, but 2 years worth of back pay. And, I'm of the thinking that I do not trust law enforcement at all. There's a precedent for that. It's not like I'm pulling this out of nowhere. But we always say, where the good cats at? Where the good cops at? Well, if you still by you didn't do anything, you're just as guilty, which is true. Well, she did something, and that was her reward until now. So it's nice to see things changing slowly but surely. It's nice to see that cops will not have to fear retribution when they decide to do the right thing. Kane, where you at on that? This makes you feel good?
Sure, it's a step in the right direction. Like I said, we all know that it's an unwritten rule in the pig's office not to police yourselves, not to snitch on yourselves or each other. So they usually cannot be trusted to police each other or their own because of that unwritten rule. And usually, if someone does speak up, like what happened to her, she gets fired. Or the extreme case, if you lived in here in Baltimore for a couple of years, what happened to that cop? He got murdered, and we all know it was the cops that did it, but they tried to make it seem like it wasn't. So yeah, this is good. I'm glad she got her pension back. Good job, good piggy, good piggy. I appreciate it. So hopefully more happens and nothing happens to the quote unquote good cops that speak up against themselves. So I
Yeah.
mean, hopefully this is a good step. This is a good step in the right direction.
All right. So sadly, that might be the end of the good news in our podcast for a while because we would be remiss to not speak on what's going on currently. So I saw a meme last night and I really wished it were a joke. But it went to the tune of we interrupt the, you know, murder trial of George Floyd to talk about the murder of Dwayne Wright by police. And we couldn't really talk about that because shortly thereafter we learned about the murder of Adam Toledo in Chicago. And I'm like I said, man, I'm not sure how much of this podcast today is going to be new or unfounded um, territory, and I'm kind of, I won't say slurring, but I'm not all here because I'm hurt, because the question that I've posed to myself years ago, I don't have an answer to, which was, I don't know which is harder, being an endangered or hunted species or raising one. And I get it, you're an adult. I'm not exactly raising you, but the fear is palpable. And what's disheartening was I'm a cat fan. I have a cat, plan to get another one, but I follow a couple kitten pages on IG, and the owner of the page posted Black Lives Matter. That's it. Just caption said Black Lives Matter. And the level of undercover racist or overcover racist that had a problem with that statement, had to deflect, cognitive dissonance. It's one thing to deal with the state sanctioned murderers that are the pigs. It's another matter entirely to feel like this might not change anytime soon, because every time it happens, you have a smattering of white people that honestly feel it's justified. That honestly, well, you should have stopped resisting. And I don't know if you saw the tape, man, but literally in Minnesota, there was a 61-year-old white guy who had his hand on his gun, who hit a pig with a hammer and drove off. Not a shot fired, not a taser fired, nothing.
Yeah,
But
dude drove off. He rolled the windows up and drove off with the pig's arm still in the window, and nobody got shot.
that shot, not even tased. Because remember, um, Mr. Wright is dead because the pig thought it was a taser. Oops, my bad. It looks like I shot you by accident. And it's just, you know, I, how you feeling, man? Let's go with that. How you feeling right now? Let's do that. How you feel?
I'm not feeling good. I mean, it's depressing. I'm not even scared anymore. Right now, it's just like it is what it is. If something happens to me in the eyes of the pigs or somebody racist, it's like, oh well. But it's just sad. Like, um, in terms of the pigs, like we need to get in order for us to actually really change, we need to get like some hardcore convictions, not just being fired, not just being charged with manslaughter. I mean, being charged with actual murder, 20 to life, stuff like that. Maybe that will deter some officers from trying to kill someone unjustly or whatever. Like they'll be hesitant to do so unless it's deemed necessary. But I don't know. I don't know what to say because we say the same. We say the same stuff every week when something happens. We're like a broken record. I don't know what more I can say that's different to appease or come up with a solution because I think we've done that already. So I don't know what more to say outside of just being pissed off and sad at the same time.
I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, here's the sad reality of it. It is not. I want to be very clear before I say this. It is not as if I'm condoning it, but I think we have really tried every contingency. I think you and I have sat on this show, sat off air, and said we don't want to cry and complain, right? What can we do to solve the problem? What do we do to solve the problem? I suggested residency. Like, you can't be a pig in a place that you don't live, because it's very easy to separate yourself from the people if you're driving from 40, 50 miles away to do your job. It's very easy to separate yourself from the people. I'm not saying that's everything. I'm not saying that's always happening, but I am saying it's much easier if I live in a nice, comfy, white picket suburb and I'm coming to inner cities to police. It's very easy to see these people as them, as those people, and they're a threat. It's very easy to do that. You so much as say defund, not even disband. You so much as say defund, You got, Obama up here and his white adjacent ass talking about what I'm say defund the police, you lose people. Why do we lose people? Why do they need these big bloated ass budgets to essentially, state sanctioned murder? We still
Yeah,
we
they
still
say
haven't talked about how the NYPD got damn robot dogs.
right.
Gotta touch that at some point. But you got all this money. And I saw another just bad stat. After George Floyd was killed, there was millions and millions of dollars into police training in Minnesota. Where was that training when you shot Dante Wright? Because you forgot that wasn't a taser. So this isn't a and it's not as if it's not as if anybody didn't know this. This isn't a training issue.
Nope.
This isn't training.
It's a
You
power issue.
you It's a power issue. And here's the thing. Unpopular opinion to some, and I get it. This is a power issue almost more than it is a racial issue.
Yeah.
Like be careful because the media shows you white cops, black people. And there's a lot of that. And there's a lot of that. And as a black person, I am concerned. You saw the brother getting pulled over, the army sergeant getting pulled over and pepper sprayed. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm not making a judgment call by the surname, I think the officer that just got fired, the pig that got fired for that, was Latino. So it's not just white cops on black people. The problem is cops. The
Judge
problem are all
Dredd.
the
That's what it
yeah,
is.
I am the law. And I really wish we were sitting here joking. But where I was going was when we start talking solutions, we can't do defund. It makes people nervous. They have not yet wrapped their minds around the idea that police don't keep you safe anyway. Because the immediate question is always, what's going to happen? It's going to be crime and lawlessness. It's not. And most
Like
of the people you're worried about being crime and lawless from, you live miles away from. So let's be all the way real.
also, like another solution would be, of course, get rid of immunity. So that's step
That's
one.
happening. That's
Well, I know
happening.
it's slowly happening, but that's in one state, so we got 49 to go. Um, gotta get rid. We gotta depowerize the unions. They're too freaking powerful, which is tied in with the immunity. Also, what I was gonna say? Dang it, I had. Oh yeah. Also, if you want to get rid of crime, I think we said this before, or we said this all there. If you want to get rid of crime, get rid of poverty. If there's no poverty and there's no people being mad and broke, a lot of most of the crimes go away. Besides, like probably white collar crimes, like sometimes murder, rape, stuff like that. But other than that, majority of the crime will be gone because no one's
Right.
broken, upset, or suffering from PTSD. But no one wants to talk about that because then that's socialism again. But hey,
Well, I mean, the deeper still on that is you got to understand what a cash cow poverty is. I was thinking about this before.
yeah, I know.
Um,
Jail, industrial complex, stuff like that. Yeah,
even bigger, like not to even get too far down a rabbit hole, but you got to understand this country has three major quote unquote complexes: the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex, and big pharma. Poverty, in an interesting way, feeds all three. Because when you're impoverished, there's a higher propensity to crime. So what do? You feed the prison industrial complex. When you're impoverished, there is a correlation, and you can look these things up between income level and access to healthy foods and fresh fruits and lack of knowledge about what and how to eat. So you end up with some obese kids, some unhealthy kids, factored in, of course, with gym being taken away from schools. So you end up diabetic or this or this or that, or all the things that come from it. Of course, not all the time, but at a much higher rate. And what do? You feed big
charger.
pharma.
Yep, charger.
You feed big pharma because you need medication, you need
Yeah,
diabetes meds, this, and that. And then, of course, for a lot of these kids, some folks who make it without crime, criminal records, so on and so forth, but can't get certain opportunities, what's the easiest thing to do? You go to the military. So you feed the military industrial complex.
Yeah.
So poverty is a cash cow. And you're right. We've talked about this, and you're absolutely right. If you really want to see certain things change, you end the poverty because a lot of things changes, but you cost yourself a lot of money when you do that, and you're the powers that be.
Well, and that's the problem. The capitalism is the problem because this life should not be all about money or your pay stub. That's not what life is about.
Man.
But hey, man, I'm preaching to the choir because that's all we do. We live for fucking
Yeah.
money and don't care about anything else until it's too late. So
And so we've now whittled away um the most viable solutions. We're now at extreme solutions. And sadly, and again, I want to preface this because I know people love to take sound bites and run with them. I do not condone this, and I am absolutely open to other solutions. But at this juncture, at the rate we are going, I only see two ways this changes quickly. One, we start clapping back, or two, there are more dead white bodies. And neither of those situations are great because it shouldn't take more bloodshed for us to figure this the hell out. But we've tried everything else. Like,
peacefully,
like
everything,
just, just,
everything. Try everything.
just you are literally in this state George Floyd was murdered in, and you killed somebody else, and all we get is, oh, oops, I thought it was my taser. And the traffic stop was for expired tags. But we're in the middle of a damn pandemic. So people who legitimately ordered tags 3 months ago don't have them yet.
Exactly.
So when the pig was asked by the reporter about that, he talked about he was aware. Well, how could you be aware? Or if you were aware of this, don't you think you got something better to do than worry about expired tags right now? Just
Yeah. The thing that other thing that pissed me off about that traffic stop was like, I'm scared. Like you asked him to get out the vehicle. It's like I'm scared. It's like you should be.
oh, you talk switch gears. You talking about the sergeant
Military dude.
in
Yeah.
Windsor, Virginia. Oh, and speaking of which, and this is the thing, you said this a while back, and I didn't want to believe you, but I don't have a choice. You said nothing's changed. I said that's not true. Everything's changed. No, I think you were closer to right than I am. Laws have changed, but that's about it. Because the fact that I do believe it was the chief of either the union or chief of police in West Virginia said the sergeant is not owed an apology. Yeah, things were done wrong. He shouldn't have been pepper sprayed, but nah, you're not owed an apology. And I am amazed at how impressively tone deaf some white people can be. So when there's more dead white bodies at the hands of cops, more unarmed white people who get killed, suddenly it will be outrage. When crack was an epidemic and we were made to be made out to be super predators. Here's looking at you, Hillary Clinton. Made out to be super predators and criminals and gang members. All it was crime, 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 crime. War on drugs, stiffer penalties, three-strike rule, mandatory sentencing. Fast forward 20 years, it's an
Opioids.
opioid epidemic.
Crisis. Wow.
And we need therapy and we need rehab. So the sad reality of the situation is when it affects white suburbia, when it affects white people disproportionately, it becomes problematic. But as long as it's non-white people,
Unless it's the NRA. Because they have that issue of shooting mass people, but nothing's really changed there. Not gun laws, but I hear you. Go
well, I
ahead.
mean, but yeah, so when we see more unarmed white people, when more unarmed white people being shot dead in the street by these pigs, things will change. The inherent problem, of course, obviously, is we see armed white people getting taken alive. So there's that, which only leaves one option. You start clapping back. And that's not, again, it shouldn't take bloodshed to figure this out.
It
It
should.
shouldn't take bloodshed to figure out if a cop kills somebody. You are not on paid administrative leave. You do not keep your job. If you are fired from your job for killing someone, you do not just go to the next door department and get a fucking job again. Your career in law enforcement
Should
is
be over.
over.
Right.
But here we are. These things are not common sense. Oh, by the way, the pig that shot Dante Wright, Kim Potter, she's charged. She's facing second degree manslaughter. I checked. She's facing a maximum sentence of 10 years. Um, I've seen this movie before. It's Amber Geiger that was in Dallas that shot Botham Jean in his own fucking house. She got 10 years. I don't know how many she's going to serve, and she's actually fighting the conviction. But Kim is out on bail already. I wonder how much of it she actually paid. It was 100,000. So I think depending on the bail laws, maybe I'll have to come up with 10%, maybe 1%. But you know, I wonder if that came from the police unions.
Probably.
You know, and it's like
or people who
you,
support the pigs, because they have a big
speaking
support system.
of speaking of pig support, they came across another article. Kyle Rittenhouse, that guy, yeah, that Kyle Rittenhouse. It's been shown that I do believe it was a pig from Virginia that made a contribution to his fund. So I'm just on the one end, if I could remove myself from the situation, remove the personal thing from the situation, good job, white America. And what I mean by that is it's an awesome job on behalf of whiteness to sell the concept of America so amazingly that you see nothing wrong with this. That America is something to defend. And it's like, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but shout out to the writers at Marvel Studios because this great value ass bootleg Captain America is exactly right. It is spot on how they got that. Like it's scary good. How he is absolutely representative of America. But I digress. But it shouldn't take bloodshed.
It shouldn't, but just like every other revolutionary and revolution, it usually does.
Because it's like I saw another post and it just stuff I see online, just scrolling through, and it's like, well, one, brother Sean King's page, he has a post up that shows that lets you listen to the audio from Chicago PD Dispatch after Adam Toledo was killed. And all of them unanimously were told to turn off their body cams. Why was that? What what good are body cams if they can be manipulated, honestly?
Pretty much.
But
That's just common sense. Like they're there for a reason, because no one trusts you. So if you have the ability to turn it off, what is the point of having it at all? Like,
you know,
you
but they were all told to talk their body cams. Some I saw a post today, and it's just I'm probably staying off social media for a while. Saw a post that said body cameras have done nothing but the only thing that's changed with body cameras is the murder is now in HD. And I really want to like say not. I really want that statement to be wrong. But
but it's
essentially,
not.
the only thing from Rodney King to now is the tape is clearer. We the Rodney King beating was kind of grainy and he had a little handheld joint. And now we get to see body cam footage and probably like 4K, and we get to watch these pigs murder us in much more graphic detail. And I can't go all the way down the rabbit hole with Adam Toledo. And just to bring the listeners, if you're not here, not familiar, up to speed, Adam Toledo was a 13-year-old. I said 13. 13. If I'm not mistaken, that is seventh grade age, seventh, eighth grade age, maybe
Yep.
freshman. That is 13. And he was shot and killed by police. Um, that's a tough one. That honestly, and I try to view things objectively. And honestly, that's going to be a tough one because the obvious thing is going to say he had a gun and the cop chasing him knew he had a gun. When he turned around, what I keep seeing floating around right now is when he turned around, how was the cop supposed to know he didn't still have a gun? And the only thing I can think of, and I'm not minimizing it because we are talking about a 13-year-old that is dead. You know how if you're watching football, remember, class example, remember the tuck game, Tom Brady? Remember how, like, when it happened in real time, it's like, oh, snap, that might not have been a fumble. But when you watch it back in slow motion, it is clearly a fumble. It looks like that's kind of the case here with just much more deadly consequences. Like, in real time, in real speed, in those situations, how do you know this kid isn't about to turn and try to clap at you? Now, the lie doesn't help because I think the initial story was, well, he had a gun, he pointed at police. I'm like, no, it's pretty clear he didn't point a gun at police.
He had his hands up. He turned around with his hands up. His hands were
Oh,
visible. You can see where his hands were. That
so
excuse
let me
goes out the freaking window. I watched the whole video. And then after
right.
you shot him, you said, "Where did you get shot?" What do you mean you shot me in the chest from point blank range? I'm talking about where did you get shot? Are you okay? What? You just shot me in the chest. You know how
Listen,
stupid you sound? Like, where did you get shot? Oh,
I'm not sure. See, this is, like I said, this gets very dicey with this situation because
he
it's like,
had he dropped the gun. And he had his hands up when he turned around. Before he even
all
turned
right, so
around.
let me walk you through this. Let me walk you through this, right? Because I don't know how this is going to play out. If you are a pig and you are chasing someone that you know is armed, right? It is obviously a dark alley, and this cat all of a sudden stops and turns at you. The last thing you know is this person is armed. In a split second,
Nah.
if you
Nah.
knew somebody had a gun, right? You were
No.
chasing someone that has a firearm in a
No.
split second.
No.
Are you going to hesitate to find out if they had
No.
that gun in their hands too?
He had his hands like this. What gun, unless he's a magician, what gun is going to appear as soon as he turn around?
And you're thinking logically and haven't seen the tape.
I
I'm saying
seen the
put
tape.
yourself
What are you
right, and I'm
talking
saying
about?
put. That's my point. You're thinking logically, and you have seen the tape. We have seen it from all angles. We've seen it slowed down. Like I said, this is Tuck rule. When you watched it in real time, did it look like Brady fumbled? No.
Yes. Yeah,
When you ran
to
it back
me,
in slow motion,
it looked like he fumbled. It looked like he fumbled.
okay.
Sorry,
When
I'm not
you
even
ran it
racist.
back when you ran it back in slow motion, like, oh my god, he clearly he clearly fumbled.
He
But
fumbled
we
in
had
real
the
time.
but we had the ability to go back, see the tape, slow it down, examine all angles. I am
Nah,
saying in that heat of the moment, if I'm chasing
nah.
someone that I know is armed, you suddenly stop and turn
He stopped, turned with his
and
hands
put his hands
up.
up.
His hands
Right.
were up. That doesn't your logic that you're trying to explain and paint the picture for their well-being does not apply. His hand was up. I watched the video many times. His hands was up before he even turned around. So what gun will he shoot you with if his hands up before he even turned around? No,
I'm
what, like he's gonna do this? Bow, you dead. Yeah, that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna air shoot you. That's what's gonna happen to you.
and then
Ah, man,
there's
stop it.
there's
No, there's no excuse for that. None. None. He had his
I
hands up, and he's a 13 fucking year old. No,
did you
no,
do you know that's a
no,
13-year-old you chasing?
no.
Like, do you know that's a 13-year-old? Which
Okay, that
that
part's fine, but
which starts leading to other questions. Why is a 13-year-old out at night with a 21-year-old running around with a gun? Was that gun illegal? Because if the gun is legally bought, now we have the gun control conversation again. If the gun is illegally bought, if that's an illegal street gun, now we have the other side of the gun control conversation, which is what I talked about a couple weeks ago. The gun control conversation, I get it. Some might say it's a reach, but the gun control conversation has a tinge of classism, maybe a tinge of racism to it, because we're all talking about legal guns. And most of the murders committed in these inner cities are by guns that are not legal. So your concern again is protecting. I mean, you could stretch it out and say your concern is protecting your suburbs and your whiteness, but there's questions here, and I'm curious to see how this is all going to play out. Because believe me, you know I can't stand pigs. And if a pig is wrong, a pig is wrong. You know,
So you saying,
we sat back and talked about the Amber Geiger situation where she said she thought it was my apartment. And when we
yes.
started breaking it down, you did all them hours of overtime. You sleepy, you not paying attention, you on your damn
Um,
phone, and all the apartments look alike.
no,
How easy would it have been to forget?
no,
Dude, how many times have you
no,
walked? Okay.
no. I've never. I worked 15-hour shift. I worked a 20-hour shift before. I've never walked to the wrong apartment door. Stop it. Stop with this. Stop with the cap, man. Stop with the excuses. I get what
I'm
you're
not.
trying to say, but you're making too many excuses for these pigs, dog.
No,
Especially
what I'm
now.
saying is typically when these pigs are, that's the other thing. He shot once. He didn't empty the clip. He shot once.
In the chest at point blank range. What you think was going to happen?
And then tried to then administer chest compression, so on and so
No,
forth.
and then did that. He asked him, where'd you get shot? How stupid can that? What type of dumbass question would you ask me while I'm shot in the chest, bleeding out? Where'd you get shot? You just
Okay.
shot me in my chest.
Here's
How
where I'm going
stupid
here.
can you be?
Okay. So you sit that next to 43 shots at Sean Bell. From what I understand, Breonna Taylor's body was left to sit there, no medical attention given for quite some time. So where I'm going with this is it is very clear typically when these pigs are maliciously trying to kill you. Not saying it's not this, but I'm saying it is real clear when these pigs are really trying to kill you and don't give a F about whether you are alive or dead. Now
You
I'm not
try.
saying I'm not saying we sitting here rallying for compassion, but the fact that this cat and this, think about how sad that is though. The fact that this pig actually, went and showed concern as opposed to letting him sit there and bleed out. The fact that this cat was like, yo, get a medic ASAP. Like, that is sad that the bar is so low that when you actually show compassion for another human being, it's applauded.
It
But
is sad. I mean,
we're gonna see how this plays out. Again,
he did.
we all have the benefit of watching this in super slow-mo and never not being in that heat of the moment.
It wasn't in slow
I
mo. The video I watched wasn't in slow mo. But like I said, I'll give him props for this. He did try to help him afterwards. I'll give him his flowers for that. But it didn't have to come to that point.
okay,
That's what I'm
so
saying.
all right, so now I'm gonna put you on the spot. Put yourself in that position. What do you do?
I have my guns. I'm not saying I don't have my guns raised at him because I do. But as soon as I see him do this and he's turning around slowly, or he turns around, all right, cool, we good. I don't need to shoot. You don't have nothing in your hand. Your hands are up. There's nothing in your hand. I have nothing to be feared for. And I will approach you slowly and then probably handcuff you. That's like
I will I will say this. If there's a conviction here, I will be shocked. I will absolutely be shocked. I'm curious to see the forensics of it, how that's gonna get broken down. I will be shocked because again, try to put myself in that position. What would I
so you
instinctively
so
do?
you will shoot. So you would do exactly what he did.
I don't know because my thought process is this. I know I'm chasing somebody with a gun to believe gun to be
Stop
but
saying
one,
that.
well,
Stop
hold on,
saying
hold on,
that.
hold on, hold on, hold on,
Stop
hold on.
saying that.
For one, if I'm one, I'm not super cop. I'm not chasing down somebody that I know has got a gun. I mean that's my thing. Call me a punk, whatever. I'm calling for backup. I don't need to be super cop. I'm not chasing you down, and I know you got the strap because I know it's potentially putting myself, and this is what I guess makes them special. So I will give you that. But I'm not all by myself chasing you down, and I know you got the strap. No, I see you run down the alley. Cool. Send backup to such and such and such, and we gonna flush you out that way. I'm no, I'm not super cop. I'm not chasing you down. Now
But
having I mean, only thing I got is like I said, I'm putting my I gotta watch. I don't want to watch it again, but I'm like, if I'm chasing you and I know you're armed, if you turn towards me, the question becomes, am I going to sit and wait for you to wait to figure out
did
if you
he
got that gun or not?
did he turn towards you with his hands on his hip or his hands in his pockets, or did he turn to you like this where both of his hands are visible and he's not holding anything? He doesn't have his hands in the balled in the fist. His hands are like this.
Well, the problem we have here is the cover up. Why they lie about it? This happened in December.
You know why they
Why'd you
lied
lie?
about it.
Why'd you lie?
You know
Why'd
why.
you?
You
Well,
know why.
he pulled the
You know
gun
why.
on. No, he didn't pull a gun on anything.
Because he lied. We know why they lied. That's a trick question. You know why they did this. Because they didn't want to deal with the backlash or the
And it's like,
protest.
but if you came right out with it, and instead of like we put a gun on him, no, we got video evidence that clearly says he didn't pull a gun on him. If you just came out with it, said the officer was not sure if the suspect was about to turn and shoot, we're having a different conversation. But the fact that you lied, yeah, now it looks real funky. Now it looks real funky. What'd you lie for?
It been a little
That running,
funky. The whole thing is funky.
that running joke in politics. It's not just a lie; it's a cover up. What'd you lie for?
I mean, it's only a
That
lie if you get caught.
I mean, well, we talking Chicago pigs. They sat on the murder of Daquan McDonald for how long? Here's looking at you, Rahm Emanuel. So covered up police murder just seems to be something they're really, really good at, which is
Yeah.
sad in and of itself.
You seen The Wire? You see what happened?
Well, that was Baltimore PD. That's a whole different animal, but
No, I'm
you
just
know,
saying in police forces in general, you know how they
right.
do. They prep you for whenever you do something fucked up. They prep you and try to get the
Tell you
situation.
how
Yeah, tell you what to do, tell you how to move, so it'll be less blowback on
you don't
you.
get caught out there, right? And
Exactly.
by the way, filed under the caucasity.
Caucus.
John Mattingly is the pig that got shot in the leg during the tragic Breonna Taylor raid. Um, he got himself a book deal. Now, what is it, Simon and Schuster, if I'm not mistaken? They caught when that because initially that was going to be distributed by them, and they caught when it was like, oh hell no, we're not touching this at all. Um, how do you take part in a deadly raid and talking about, well, I need to tell my story? And fuck your story. Breonna Taylor's dead. Fuck your story. And I don't know. Breonna's boyfriend, I apologize for not knowing his name off top, said initially the reason he shot the warning shot was because you pigs didn't announce yourselves. But here you go, swearing up and down, y'all announced yourselves. Why would I blast the cops though? It doesn't make logical sense. If
Yeah.
Brianna lived in the hood where cats can run up on you, and I know gun laws, like I don't want no smoke, quote unquote, because anybody from the hood know it ain't typically gonna be if they gonna run up on you, it ain't gonna be one person. It's gonna be a few. So I'm gonna let that thing off one time and hope y'all have some different ideas. But does it make logical sense for y'all to say freeze, it's the police, it's Louisville PD, and me to still shoot? Does that make any logical sense?
Yeah, but that's fear mongering right there. Because we're monsters, so we're gonna shoot anyway. That's what they try to
I,
paint the picture. That he was a very super thug or whatever and shot
right.
anyway, but that didn't
Like that
happen.
that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make logical sense. If it's the pigs coming to serve a warrant and they're gonna kick the door in, what I'm gonna buck for? That don't even make sense. But he's still talking about one, it wasn't racial. I can kind of buy that. I can kind of sort of buy that because as we've always said, um, crimes in areas of poverty are different. So I can buy that. I think that's the thing we can't say definitively if this was a poor white community or what have you, would we have the same result? And I believe so. I absolutely believe so. Um, but he said one, it wasn't racially motivated, and two, they did identify themselves. Well, Brianna's not exactly alive to fucking corroborate the story. Wonder why? But you got yourself a book deal to tell what story? To tell the
Tell the
story to
story.
other white people who think like you. Well, yeah, he said it. They said police before they knocked the door in. The guy just shot him.
Yep. That's basically all you're trying to do. I mean, there's no other reason to make a book and explain yourself if you're not trying to defend your honor or defend your boys.
Who the fuck would buy this book? Like, I'm like, where's the remark? Who can Who the fuck wants to read this?
The people with a blue line on the flag, yeah, they'll probably buy it.
Touche, touche, touche. All the blue lives matter, motherfuckers. Touche. You right. You right. You right. But it's just like you took part in a deadly raid where a woman was allowed to sit there and not get medical attention and die, and you want to write a book about it. Tell your side of the story. I'm like the caucasity of it all. And it is this sense of white entitlement. And this is what we're talking about when we say white privilege. It all kind of ties together. It's this white is right. And just because I'm white, way shit gets carried. And it irks my nerves. Like I said, I spent a little time trolling some idiots online because I was bored. Why not? And it's like the entitlement, like this one white woman went off on this tangent because Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization and Antifa. And then I said, oh, wow, I haven't had a Fox News update in a while there, Karen. I said, really? They're terrorists? You mean the police force is literally descended of slave catchers? And to my knowledge, the KKK was the first domestic terrorist organization. What are you talking about? Oh, don't want to touch that one though. It is just the selective memory. We're going to pretend the KKK didn't happen. We're going to pretend lynchings didn't happen. We're going to pretend that I can't turn the page back in history, not twice, once, and find pictures of dead, hanging, burning black people and a whole bunch of smiling ass white folks standing around them. We're going to pretend I can't do that, huh?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, hey, we're a real terrorist group. That's right. Just like the Black
Right.
Panther Party, Black Lives Matter, NOI, all terrorist groups. Even though they've done nothing to do terrorism, but
Right.
people with white
Right.
hoods and burning crosses, sitting outside of churches, firebombing churches, houses, hanging, lynching people, beating people, torturing people, all that. But yep, we're the terrorists because all we want is some fairness and our people to thrive. But since we
Right.
want our people to thrive, that's bad news to y'all because that's not part of the status quo. But whatever, I
Right.
guess I'll be a terrorist then. After
Because that man, you remember that last black male mass shooter? Oh, wait. There aren't any of those. I know. For somebody says something, yes, I know Lee Malvo, the whole DC sniper shit. I got you. So that means one out of, I don't know,
like 50,
every other one?
like
Every other one?
it's like 1 out of 50 or 20.
Right. So I'm like, just it's not like everything in this country is built off whiteness and maintaining whiteness. And I am dumb. I guess I shouldn't be surprised because if everything slants my way, I wouldn't exactly be in no rush to contest that either. And the inherent issue, I hear a lot of white folks say I grew up poor and I don't have privilege, I don't have any advantages. And it's like, no, 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 no. Even it's not about you being rich. It's about basic interactions don't turn deadly for you. That's all. Like, you get pulled over, you get to get mouthy with the cop and talk all kind of big shit and get a warning. I can just be sitting there and get fucking killed. Like it's not about whether or not your whiteness brings you riches. It's about my blackness bringing me death. There is a distinct difference. And I'm just amazed at the amount of white people that still exist that don't seem to understand that very basic concept. I am encouraged, however, by the amount of white people that do exist that actually get it. And that is encouraging. It's more than ever before. It just seems it's taking a long time, man. Oh, it's taking a long time to see some change socially, you know. But I'm gonna put a pin in that because I touched enough bad news. I put a pin in that. We didn't get a chance to talk about certain things, so we were off for a week, and you know what it is, listeners and watchers. we prefer quality over quantity. It's just I don't know if you noticed it. It seems like every time we take a week off, the world goes to hell in some way, shape, or form. It makes me nervous to take a week off. Like I ain't saying we the Simpsons of podcasting, but it's like every time we take a week off, we end up with a whole bevy of shit to come back to. Like, but I'll let you open it up. You saw Godzilla versus Kong. What's your rating? What's your reason?
I give it a 3.5. Um, and my reason was the fight scenes and the CGI was pretty good. Like I said, it was some good fight scenes. The story was it was okay. It made sense somewhat, but except for that Hollow Earth thing, I don't know what the hell that is. But
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I was confused. No, I'm like,
I
what? Just like
I, I guess that's where they came from. I don't know.
yeah.
That part confused the hell out of me. Outside of that, good fight scenes and good effects. So I'll give it 3.5 scoops out of 5 protein scoops.
I was a little. I'm 3.25. It was okay. I saw it in IMAX, but it was a BS IMAX. It's like the Owens Mills IMAX. It was a BS IMAX, but I saw it in IMAX, and I was like, okay. The story was okay. It was just okay. I really thought one of them was going to die though, because the super Godzilla, the super mechanical Godzilla at the end. I'm like, so yeah, that's it. I thought like one of them was gonna die, and you set up the sequel, and then the other one gets revenge. Like I thought, but no, and I didn't think they're just gonna beat the super Godzilla just that easily. Like that's all. He's dead. That's it.
It
Oh.
wasn't easy because they was getting their they was getting their butt whooped. Well, Godzilla was.
Oh, yeah, he was getting that work. He was getting that work. But I'm like, just like that, he's dead. Like that's it. No, no. Like I just thought we was gonna set that up for the sequel, and I don't know if there's gonna be a sequel. I don't even know how it did the box office. It was just a lonely night. I was like, all right, you know what? I love the movies. Let's go check it out. I still want to see Nobody. My rating, like I said, I give it 3.25 scoops out of 5. If you got nothing else to do, check it out. You do absolutely not need to get an IMAX ticket. You didn't see it in theaters, did you, Mister Anti Theater?
No, I saw it HBO Max.
There you go. Get it. As certain filmmakers have said, certain movies are made to be seen in theaters, sir. Not the small screen, in theaters.
I don't got a
Like I'm
small
not.
screen. I don't have a small screen. So yeah.
If you don't have the 100-foot wide movie screen, you
I
have a
don't
small
care.
screen.
I know it's not small. Anyway, but I
There
don't
you go.
care. I don't care.
You don't have the IMAX experience,
I
sir.
don't
The
care.
boom.
I don't care, dog. Some movies I will see in IMAX. Some it's not that deep. It's not that
You
deep.
remember going to see Batman Begins, the Batman trilogy in IMAX? How amazing that was! Really, we're
I
doing
said
this?
some movies are meant to see, and some I don't care. That's what I just said. I
Jesus.
don't care.
Okay.
It's not that
Oh,
deep.
okay. And I said I was gonna be done to bad news. I can't be done to bad news. We kind of got derailed there. Ugh. We lost a hip hop icon in DMX, tragically. Um, a lot of questions, man. A lot of questions. Well, again, I'll let you lead that off. You can play the Jeter role. When you heard DMX pass, what'd you think?
They said, hopefully it wasn't due to an overdose, like it's been reported.
Well, the other
But
option ain't good either.
well, yeah, the lives ain't good either. But at least you can say that he was clean and it wasn't his own fault. You know what I'm saying? But it's tragic. I mean, he is a legend. We're gonna miss him. But I mean, it's part of life. It's death. So hopefully he's resting in peace and praise God.
I mean, I don't know. This, and I know I'm gonna get accused of looking or reading way too much into it, but DMX just left. I won't say left, but should pose a lot of questions. Because here we are again with quote unquote complicated legacy, just not all the time for the same reasons, but here we are again with complicated legacy. And when you look at the summation of X's life, there's parts, and I don't know what you do with it. I don't know what to make of it, and maybe we don't. Maybe we just learn from it because it's like it's okay. On the one end, you have a black boy that has been institutionalized, I think, since 7 or 8. What did what did you think was going to happen to a young black boy that's been in and out of institutions since 7 or 8? Um, we're talking about a world that chews up and spits out black boys. So what do we think was going to happen there? So it's nothing short of miraculous that he actually could rap and brought that gift to the world. But then there's the part of within his raps, there's, let's be honest, there's a lot of murder, well, a lot of violence, a lot of misogyny. One of people's favorite X songs is what these bitches want. And it's like you literally made an entire song about cheating. But then you balance that out with Lord Give Me a Sign. And
and
the
slipping. But I
right.
mean, but I mean, he's a part of his environment, and that's why I said I don't like you. I don't like to overanalyze stuff and look at the negative when somebody dies. Stop being so
It's
damn
not
negative.
it's
Stop being so
not
damn negative. The
negativity.
dude did. Oh my god.
It's looking at the reality of the situation. It's
I
not
hate to
negativity.
I hate to see what happens if I die. You probably gonna be like, see, when he was 5, he got to clean his
Oh,
room and
stop,
shit.
yo. Stop,
he
yo. You bugging.
didn't
You,
clean his room.
you
He didn't listen to me. He didn't wash the dishes when
stop,
I told
yo.
him to. So yeah, we
What?
gotta look at this complicated legacy. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, there's a very great poet, someone I call a friend, Lamar Hill. He's got a line of poem that says, when he dies, I just ask that you look over the body and tell the story honestly. And I thought that was like, damn, that's morbid as hell. But no, it's look, don't raise me to the level of deification if I'm not worthy of that. Tell the truth and let people decide. Because all of us, to some degree, like unless you're Muhammad Ali or something, I don't know. Unless you're some, all of us have a quote unquote complicated legacy. It's just a matter of what, and let all of it be a lesson. The amalgamation of DMX, I'm just saying, I don't know what do you do with that, because the other side of it is when you start hearing the stories, and the one thing that kept recurring, how amazingly generous and giving he was. You talking about a person that had nothing, that essentially was thrown away, has every reason to be bitter, to be upset, to be mad, and is generous as hell, just paying for people's food, paying restaurants, like generous as hell. He is also an example of what unwavering faith in God, in Jesus, in Christianity looks like. Because through it all, if you listen to X music, if you listen to things he said, he is a devout. He was dedicated to God and Christ. So there's that part of it as well. And it's like one of the biggest issues some folks have in the black community with Christianity is like a lot of people talk that talk, but they ain't living that life. Oh, you Christian, but you da 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 da. And it's not passing judgment, it's just observation. But X was definitely the poster child for this is what unwavering faith looks like. So what do you take all those pieces? And I think it's one of those situations where maybe I'm looking for a sum. I'm looking for all of these things mean this. And maybe it's just no, all of these things are simply all of these things, and take from it the parts that speak to you. Maybe it's that simple.
Yep.
So it's like it's an interesting thing. I just don't deify. Like we said, we rewind time, we talk about it. It's complicated legacy. Nipsey was doing great things for the people in his community, people in his hood. Nipsey had gang ties. Depending on who you're talking to, it depends on what they want to focus on. Kobe was Kobe. Kobe was girl dad. Kobe did a ton of things for women, for women's basketball. There are some people who will never get past Colorado. Depends on what you're looking at. So maybe it's not so much of looking for a sum total, just taking the parts that as they are and saying, this was an interesting piece here, it's an interesting piece there. As we talked about before, art and artists. John Lennon is my favorite artist of all time. Imagine to me is the most amazing song ever written. But we can't ignore he himself has said he was abusive towards women, so on and so forth, and he was an absentee dad. What do we do with that? We
It's up to
take the
you.
piece. Yeah, you don't ignore any of it. You just try to balance out all of it because you can't. John Lennon was a saint. Don't do that. Clearly wasn't.
Nope.
John Lennon was an abuser and a loser, and he abandoned his kid. Well, he didn't. That wasn't all he was, though. So you take all the pieces. But X passing is tragic. For lack of a better term, I'm going to take the easy way out on this one. For the conspiracy theorists, there's a running conspiracy theory that hey, he took the vaccine shortly before, and that might have had something to do with it. I haven't really tracked that heavy. I haven't really gone down that rabbit hole because at the end of the day, I know personally I'm not taking it. Think of that what you will. You're entitled to it, but F you, I'm not taking it. And I would hope that that's not the case, but I don't know. The Johnson and Johnson vaccine has been paused, so
Mhm.
I would just hope that wasn't the case. I hope an overdose wasn't the case either, because. But yeah, condolences to his remaining children. You had a lot of kids. I think somewhere between 15 and 17. I don't know which number was confirmed. That's a lot of kids. Um, so that's where the loss will be felt the most. Those kids no longer have a dad around. I think you had a 4 or 5 year old, so that really, really sucks. But yeah, I had to take a moment, talk about a hip hop icon, what his passing meant, what his life meant. I definitely have about 3 or 4 DMX songs on my workout playlist. Yes, they are all hyper violent, but I keep things contained in that box as we discussed. It stays in the box,
No, it
in the
doesn't.
box.
Don't let him lie to you. Don't let him lie to you people. But it's okay. It's okay.
Really? We're doing that? We're doing that.
Hey, it's okay. Hey,
We're,
carry
we're, we're
on.
doing that.
Carry
We're
on.
doing that.
Carry. You didn't have to say this. You didn't have to bring this part up. You could have just left that part up.
All I was saying is I try to keep my hyper violent lyrics in a nice workout box.
Okay. Okay.
I apologize if Anita Baker just don't get me to move 400 pounds. Like different strokes for different folks. I am not of that line of thinking, but I do understand. Like, all right, that's not necessarily something you want to share with the world.
Okay.
Because all right, no, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this. We're gonna put it out there. We're not gonna do this because apparently you're accusing me of something different. So once upon a time, when a certain son of mine came to visit, we were strolling along, just driving along, listening to music. If I'm not mistaken, with the windows up.
Down. With the windows down.
Were we on the
Down.
highway, sir? Were we on the highway, sir? Were we on
Down.
the highway? Were we on the
No,
highway?
we were on the highway. Down.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay, dude. You like what you like. It's okay. It's all right. I know you
Okay.
like a hypocrite, but it's okay. It's all right.
Oh, we doing that.
It's
We're doing.
okay.
Oh,
It's
okay.
okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm not I'm guilty of it too. I have my playlist that has some violent ass shit, but hey, it is what it is. It gets you going. It gets you going. You know what I'm saying?
And last but not least, last couple episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, it just got real. It just got real. Great value, Captain America. Did he take the serum?
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out did he take this because it
Yeah.
didn't show him taking it.
I know, but he was stronger than he was because he was getting his ass
But
kicked by the Wakandans. So,
oh,
but
but that
now,
mean everybody gonna get their ass whooped by the Dora Milaje. Like everyone. Oh, and shout out to them sisters. The Dora Milaje have jurisdiction wherever the Dora Milaje are. Like, oh wow, you just got sunned. Hard. Oh, I enjoyed that much. I enjoyed that greatly. You guys don't have jurisdiction here. Here, let me help you out, white boy. Let me help you out. Wherever I'm at, I got jurisdiction. And proceed to whoop that ass. Yeah, that was great. That was great. But yeah, when your boy just went to town with the shield, I'm like, I gotta give it to Marvel, man. The symbolism. Standing there, the fake ass Captain America with blood on his shield after murdering somebody in broad daylight. Wow, that's just the most American thing I've seen in a while.
broad daylight out off your own. So,
That's
but
the most.
yeah, you gotta watch the latest episode because props to Marvel because I don't know if you remember the conversation. Well, the black super soldier that's in Baltimore.
Yeah,
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 he,
yeah,
he
yeah.
came back to him, or Sam did, and they had a talk about basically America and how they treated him and how he was tortured for 30 years, and they
Wait,
didn't
whoa,
want the
whoa, whoa, whoa,
black.
time. Whoa, 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 whoa. There's an episode after. There's another
Yes,
episode out already.
it comes out every Friday. Why don't you ever?
Cause I'm sleep like a normal human being.
It comes out every
What is wrong with you? I'm sleep like a
Friday.
normal human being. I am actually in bed, sir.
Okay, you don't got insomnia. Good for you. God damn. But some people don't. Some people have trouble sleeping. So to kill time, they watch freaking shows, and that show comes on. So I watched the latest episode, which was A1. A1.
Okay, so I watch that when I do my cardio today. 'Cause that's how I watch it. I got 30, 40 minutes of cardio on the step mill, and that's what gets me through watching stuff. Like I rewatched because of this, I actually went and rewatched um Captain America Winter Soldier. Forgot how good that was. Like, yeah, that was a really good movie. The Captain America is probably the best ones, but yeah, that was a really good Winter Soldier was a really good movie. I forgot Nick Fury faked his own death. Got clapped through the window. But all right. So running back recap. Um we gotta find a solution that doesn't involve bloodshed. And while I am losing hope, I am not hopeful. I'm not hopeless yet. The police are a sanctioned murdering force in this country. And to now, is that all they are? No. But that is something that needs to be removed from their job title. State sanctioned murderer should not be in your job description. And the reality of the situation is it is. So I really hope we find a solution that doesn't involve any more bloodshed because we're running out of solutions fast. um, Shout out to Clarion Horn. I'm glad she got made whole and got made right. This Adam Toledo thing is gonna be messy. I can already see it now. Um, this is gonna be messy, and I don't know what justice looks like in that instance because there's a lot of questions that this is gonna pose. How did the 13? Why is a 13-year-old out that late? Why does a 13-year-old have a gun? There's a lot of questions, and at the end of the day, we have a dead 13-year-old, and I can't imagine what his family is going through right now. Um, uh, Rest in peace to DMX. I hope we again another kind of mirror because young black boys or no one should actually be in and out of institution since the age of 7. Um, I am honored and happy we got to see his light, even as dark. And there's a message there. We need to do better as a society. Someone shouldn't be chewed up and spit out by these systems that we have in place when things fall apart. And lastly, Converse Godzilla, not worth the IMAX ticket, not in my opinion. 3.25 scoops. Falcon and Winter Soldier, if you ain't up on it, get up on it. Your recap, sir.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully, it won't be any more bloodshed, but there will be, and that's probably what's going to have to happen. Hopefully, we we don't have to clap back, but it's looking like it's going to have to turn out that way unless we start the peaceful way is we get more convictions and like serious time convictions, not manslaughter or just being fired. I mean, actual convictions to murder, and then that might scare away the other cops from doing it. But who knows? But what else? Um, Rest in peace to X. Um, Unlike my co-host, I'm not going to sit here and say complicated legacy. I'm just going to say his legacy is his legacy, good and bad. That's what all legacies. It's not complicated. It's just that's part of who you are, and how he grew up is just how he is. Um, I give Kong versus Godzilla. Give that 3.5 scoops. It was a good fight scene story. It confused the hell out of me sometimes, especially with the Hollow Earth stuff. But I wouldn't say it's worth IMAX, but still, I think it's worth to see though. Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yep, go check out the newest episode because it's some deep stuff being talked there, especially the scene where Sam the Falcon talking to the black Captain America that no one knew about. and it's very powerful there. And yeah, I think that is it. Remember, we don't mean no harm. We truly mean all the disrespect.
Every last bit of it, hot damn. All right, boys and girls. We have no intention on taking a week off next week. There's still some things we got to touch on because, in a nutshell, war crimes, Mount Rushmore, a couple other things. Yeah, we got things in the chamber we're gonna talk about. Shout out to my man Black Ace for giving me some more info I'm gonna delve into. But yeah, it's been a tough one. It's been a tough week. If you are black in America, if you are in America, it's been a tough few days. And if you are black in America, it's probably been some more sleepless nights. I really hope we can get past all of this and find a way to live, in peace. And I get that might be extremely optimistic, but what are we if we don't have hope? This isn't solving world hunger. This isn't curing cancer. This is looking at another person as a human being. And I didn't realize that that was such a complicated thing to do.
Yeah, but what is something that Kobe said? He said to Ron Artest, "How do you think peace is made? Through war."
And with that, friends and neighbors, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is it for the Yeah, I Said It podcast for this day, April 16th, 2021. We will see you in a week's time. Peace.
Yeah.